Hey everyone, Alex Branning here. I'm so glad to have you here. Today is absolutely gorgeous up here in Redding, California. This is my very first live lunch and learn. What I'm going to be doing while you are sitting there enjoying your food, I am going to be sharing some tips on a topic that I'm hoping you'll get a lot of value from. Today, I'm going to be talking about taxes. I'm going to be sharing some of the mistakes that I made and 10 tips to help you save money. This entire Facebook Live video will probably only be about 15 to 20 minutes, give or take, depending on how quickly I go through the material. At the end, I'll give you the information for a professional tax guy, one that I trust and that I've worked with. So if you're looking for someone to kind of walk through this stuff with, you'll have somebody to connect with, so that'll be good. Now, before we get started, what I'd love for you to do is if you are watching this live with me right now, if you're watching this on Thursday at lunch and you're here, I would love to acknowledge you. So please type in the comment box live and then give me your website address. So type in live dash, in my case, it would be branninggroup.com. If you're watching on the replay, I'm so glad that you're watching. I'm glad to have you. Please type in replay dash and then your website. This live video will be watched probably around 1,000 times in the next 24 hours. And one of the fun parts about doing these live videos is being able to connect people from all over the world while we're all sitting here together. You're eating your food, I'm talking, and we'll be able to connect with each other while we're here. So I'd love for you to do that. Go ahead and comment so that I can see that you're here. And we're going to just have some fun today. This is a very lighthearted live video. The goal is to share information. The goal is to connect with people, hopefully build some cool relationships. You know, today could just be the start of a great relationship with somebody else that happens to be watching the same video. You just never know how these things get started, and that's part of the fun of doing things like this live. So I want to give you some brief information about me for those of you who may not know me very well. There's going to be a lot of people on here that are seeing me for the very first time. My name is Alex Branning. I am your marketing coach. I have a podcast that I'd love for you to check out. If you're a podcaster like me, you can search for me on iTunes, Google Play, or others. Just search for my name, Alex Branning. You can see it spelled out there on the bottom. I also have a book out you can grab. It's called Pinterest, How to Grow Your Business on Pinterest. And you can actually grab a free copy of it by going to freepinterestbook.com. That's freepinterestbook.com. I have another one that is going to be released soon that I'm excited about called Facebook Ads 101, where I'll be diving in. So you can get, you'll be able to get the Pinterest one on Amazon. The Facebook one is coming soon. And I have my podcast, and you can check out my website as well. We release a blog on a regular basis there. So anyway, thank you so much for being here right now. Let's dive into the content. It is 12:01. I want to go ahead and get started so I can share my 10 tax tips. I respect your time. I value it. So let's dive right into the material. The first tax tip that I want to talk about today. Well, let me put up a disclosure. My lawyer had me put this up. I am not a tax pro. So I'm sharing with you things that I've learned and things that I've gone through and things that I've implemented in my own business. But I want you to know that I'm not a tax pro and that anything that I say to you today, all the advice that I give you should be taken as an opinion and that you should consult with a tax professional, with your CPA, before you implement any of these strategies. Now, at the end of this, I'm going to give you a name of the Rich Gaines. That is his name. He's a tax pro. I'll give you his contact info. That way you can reach out to him. Ask him some more of these detailed questions. He's the guy to talk to about that. I'm sharing ideas. Talk to him about whether or not they are right for you. Tip number 1, become an s-corp. Here's what I mean by that. When you are a sole proprietor, all of the revenue that comes into your business is taxable revenue, which is very painful. What I recommend doing is making yourself an entity. I want to give you some real life stats here. When I started my business, I was a sole proprietor, and I was a sole proprietor for the first 13 years that I was in business. I've been in business for 17 years now. And my revenue in 2013 was about 250,000, and my tax bill was astronomical. It was about 25,000. It was just crazy, and it was painful, and it hurt every April. It was just it just get this like drop this brick in my stomach. It just sucked. The next year, I became an s-corp, and I established myself in 2014, and my tax bill went down almost 90%, which is like mind blowing. That one change saved me $20,000, same amount of revenue, but now I'm taxed differently, and so that's my number one tip. Look into becoming an s-corp. I would not recommend becoming an LLC. Talk to your tax person about that. But the way that the entity is set up is different. An s-corp, in my opinion, and from what I was told, is usually the best bet for small business owners. Now that leads me to my next one, which is make yourself an employee. When you are an employee of your own company, then the income that you generate is going to be taxed by the company. So you don't have this monster bill at the end of April, and you can set up deductions. So you can have deductions on the company level, and then you can have different deductions on the personal level. And so you're going to notice a huge impact on your taxes, even if you are an s-corp with just yourself as an employee. I'm not. We have 6 employees here at the Branning Group, and so but I would highly recommend making yourself an employee. It will lessen the tax bill. It actually reduced it almost down to nothing now for me at the Branning Group. Because of what I'm about to show you here, our tax bill in April is very, very small. Even compared to our first year as an s-corp, it's very small because we're taking steps to reduce the pain that we experienced in April. Some of the way that we reduce that pain is by spreading out the tax payments across the year through these payroll taxes and paying estimated taxes, which I'll get to in just a second. Now, the other one that I want to talk about is putting your money into an investment vehicle that's tax friendly. That's going to do a lot of things for you. Number one, it's going to set you up for the long term, which as entrepreneurs, we too often do not pay ourselves. We get stuck on this hamster wheel of paying bills and then putting money back into the business, hoping that the business will eventually pay off. Well, businesses have up and downs, but what I recommend doing is taking the first small portion of what you bring in that month and setting it aside in a tax-friendly investment vehicle that you can pull from later on if necessary. We all go through the peaks and valleys of entrepreneurship, and there's nothing like having a little bit of cushion there that you've set aside. We have a couple different accounts over here at the Branning Group, and some of them we haven't touched for over a year and a half, 2 years. We've just been putting money aside and just letting it build and build. That way we have a cash cushion in case anything comes up. So and we also have tax-friendly investment vehicles for me and my family. That way we can pull from that later on if necessary. So I recommend doing that. Also, keep track of your miles. One of the most business-friendly deductions is mileage. It's almost 50 cents a mile, which means that if you travel 15,000 miles for business, which is just a little over 1,000 miles a month, which is very doable, and most likely you're already doing that. If you travel 15,000 miles a year, then you can take a deduction of almost $7,500. Wow. So make sure you keep track of your miles. Also, the Augusta rule. Almost nobody knows about this. This is super fun. Check this out. The Augusta rule is named after a tax provision that was put in place around the Augusta golf tournament. Here's the rule. For 5 days, you can rent or it's 5 or 10, you can rent your house out to a business, or you can rent your house out as an individual. You can rent your house out for tax-free income. And so here's how we use it over here at the Branning Group. Check this out. So I rent my house out for a client party, for a big client meeting, and I rent it out to my business. And so my business has it as an expense for the event. And then I am able, as Alex Branning, to get that income tax free. So that's way cool. Talk to your CPA about that, because that could save you a lot of money. Now you have to make sure that you're charging your own business the right amount for what you're doing. So for example, you cannot charge your business $5,000 to rent your house for a day. That's not market value. However, you can charge yourself, your business. Let's say your mortgage is around $2,000. You can charge your business, say, give or take $200 to rent your house for the day, and that is tax-free income to you, and that's an expense for your business. So it's like a double whammy. It's awesome. Check that one out. Now, one favor to ask: if you learn something while you're watching this video, please share the video, because that helps me get the word out about these tax tips that could help save entrepreneurs a lot of money. So please share it if you learned something from this. Tip number 6, your website and all the money that you spend on Facebook ads, they're all tax deductible. So that goes under your advertising and promotion. Or you could also deduct it. I've seen some people do it. They've deducted what they pay me to build their website under a subcontracted professional, which is usually going above, it goes into the cost of goods sold, depending on your business structure. So, but everything that you pay the Branning Group for is all tax deductible. So if you have any questions about that, talk to your tax professional. If you would like to get started on some marketing stuff in 2018, I'd love to work with you. So hit me up after the lunch and learn. Tip number 7, use a payroll company to make sure you don't mess up your payroll taxes. You're going, Alex, this isn't really a tax tip. What's this doing here? No, this is a tax tip, because I have seen way too many businesses try to be a cheapskate through their payroll, not pay a professional, do something wrong, and then get hammered at the end of the year. That's foolish. Just spend a little bit of money that you have to hire a professional, hire someone like Paychex or something similar. Let them take care of it so that you don't get screwed at the end of the year. So I had a situation personally where I was in trouble because I had done something stupid out of ignorance. Now, if I had a payroll professional that was doing this stuff for me, I never would have got myself in that position. And it's pennies. I mean, I pay my payroll company, I think it's like something like $150 a month or something like that. I don't know. I have to look back, but money well spent for the amount of work that they do and all the I's that they dot and the T's they cross. Money well spent. Make sure you hire a payroll company, because man, when you deal with employees and all the payroll taxes, it can become messy if you make a mistake. Tip number 8, donate unused inventory. If you have a physical business and you have stuff that you were not able to use or sell, donate it, please. That is an awesome way, number 1, for a charitable donation. Number 2, it's a great tax benefit for you, because you can get that deductible at the amount that you could sell that unused inventory for. Now, as I said before, make sure you talk to your CPA or tax professional about the specifics of this, but this is a great way for you to not just throw away the old stuff, donate it. Somebody is going to actually be able to use it, and you get a great tax write-off. So here at the Branning Group, we donate unused inventory. We donate stuff that we're not using anymore, and it's a great way to not only help others that cannot afford to buy this equipment, but it's a great way to get a tax write-off. Tip number 9, pay estimated taxes. Now, did you know that you get hit with a penalty if you don't pay taxes until April? So if you wait the entire year and you don't pay your taxes until they're due, you actually get an unpaid taxes penalty, which is a very silly fee to pay. And depending on how much revenue you brought in, it could be a couple $100. Like, why do that? Pay estimated taxes. Just pay a little bit, even if it's just a small amount. Pay your estimated taxes. That way you don't get dinged. Last but not least, my last tip for you. This is a big one. It's a little bit of a risk, but this is a big tip to save you a lot of money, and that is start a side hustle business for extra write-offs. So I started this presentation by sharing that you should become an s-corp for your main business, and then make yourself an employee of that s-corp for double the tax benefits. And go back in and watch that over again if you want to. Or actually, no, talk to your CPA about that. But start a side hustle business, and that could be a multi-level marketing company. That could be an Etsy shop. That could be dog walking, like whatever. Start a side hustle business for the extra tax benefits, because all of the expenses that you use to start up that business, all tax deductible, which is why it's great to start up a side hustle business that's similar to a hobby. So that's cool. But also the money that you use for, driving around, picking up materials, mileage. If you're going around and you're going out to eat with people and you bring up your side hustle business, meals and entertainment tax deduction. So there's just a lot of great things that you can get out of this. And so I highly recommend starting a side hustle business for extra write-offs. Last but not least, if you need to talk to a pro, I want to give you a recommendation. His name is Rich Gaines. He has 32 years of experience as a tax lawyer and an advanced degree in law. So he's a great guy to talk to. I know him and trust him. He's a great dude. He's agreed to give you a free consultation. All you got to do is just send him an email, rich@legacylegal.com, rich@legacy-legal.com. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have learned something, please share it. I started this by talking about commenting. I would love to see a comment from you if you have joined live right now. Please comment live and then your website. If you're watching the replay, please comment replay and then the website. That way we can all network. Thank you so much for being a part of this. This was a blast. I look forward to your feedback.